I think we need to ask the money guys back for our light. We send them a light, they send us a used coffee cup. I think we asked for it back. We could really use that light now. That was a mistake.
No reason to ever talk to them.
Yeah, oh, you're done.
Oh, yeah.
Cut you out. Maybe I'll just give them a call and see, like, hey, noticed you're not using our light there. Get it back.
You can deal with them.
Like, I can't even remember their names. Hey, welcome to the closing beat. That is not supposed to be there. How you doing today? Happy Thursday to you. Hope you're having a good day out there. Welcome to our show called The Closing Beat. Talk about the stock markets, all the good stuff there. We'll try to work through everything that's going on in the market, and there is a lot that's going on in the market. Also, quick plug. We do a lot for our clients. We do Wine and Wealth. We do our Notes from Jazz email that goes out every week. These are not like templates or whatever. These are actual custom classes, custom emails that we do. We've got the research site if you want to join. And did you know we build our own software? I'd like to share something with you here. Take a look. Now, if you go into your account, popular request, hey, I'd like to see my account balance and I'd like to see the returns and just kind of be able to see both. So now, if you're not familiar, this is actually what it looks like inside of your account as a client, the top part of the page. You can look at the performance of all of your accounts or individual accounts and all the data there. But now you can actually say, hey, I want to see my balance when I maybe rolled some money over, made some deposits or whatever, and I want to actually see returns going in there. This is just the start of what we're adding here. If you actually go down to your individual account, you can actually see the different levels of returns, whether it's time-weighted, personal rate of return. We put them all in there for you. So you can actually see what you've got, what you've grown, where you're at, and how things are going. Also with the cool little speedometer that tells you how much you've contributed. But that's our latest update as of just a few minutes ago. Still a few more things to plug in there. But if you're one of our clients, yeah, man, we listen. That was a big popular request. And thankfully, that's one of the things that we could do there. Anyways, if we go over to the stock market here for today, I read through the Fed's transcripts yesterday, or last night, just to kind of see what was going on there. They admitted that inflation could turn out to be a lot higher than they expected. Their words, not mine. And I thought it was funny. They said that generous unemployment benefits are currently holding back the labor market. People are not going back to work because of the generous payments that the government's giving out, which makes you wonder why the government wouldn't just say, oh, you noticed that was a problem? Well, let's just turn that off. 30 days. We're done paying for people to stay at home. There are plenty of jobs out there, man. Let's get back to work. All right, as far as the S&P is concerned here today, we touched new highs. We pulled back a little bit after hours. You're going to see a little bit of a pullback there on the chart just because you had some earnings come out. We'll cover those here in a little bit. So officially day number 184 without a 5% or more pullback here. There's only 3% of the times in the entire history of the S&P 500 where you've gone over 190 days without a 5% pullback. So we've got 6 days left before we break that record. And like I mentioned yesterday, if we go over the 190 days, then every instance went to, which was only 6, but every instance went to 250 days. So if you're one of those bulls, you're kind of cheering for the next 6 days to at least stay there. Just be quiet, wait. If you're a bear, you kind of, I guess, don't hope that it goes over 190 days. And of course, this could be the one time in the entire stock market history that it goes 199 days and then gives you the 5% pullback. But just a fun stat that I like to take a look at there. Also, if you look at the S&P, I'm just using the futures here, but if you use the S&P forward PE, if we look forward, the average is 15, right? 15 times forward earnings. We're currently maybe a little bit, what's the word they use on TV? Frothy. Maybe a little bit frothy here, 21.4 times earnings as of last night there. And a lot of I know you geeks out there are going to be like, yeah, but, it's cap-weighted index, man, so the top 5 are, taking part everything. They make up 25%, so isn't that number kind of skewed a little bit? Went a little bit further last night. The equal weight S&P is trading at 19 times, which is still above average if you follow that metrics there. So there's a lot of deals to be had out there, I get you, but right now, maybe a little bit stretched. Here's a fun one for you for the S&P. Facebook, which was down today, right? No problem. Microsoft, Amazon, which is down after hours, and Netflix. Oh, we'll throw in Alphabet there. You take those 6 stocks, right? If you only own those stocks, you outperformed the S&P over the last month by 100%. Those stocks added 5% as a group, whereas the S&P's only added 2.5%, at least as of last night. That cannot and will not continue, just so you know. But that's what's helping us get up there. That's what's keeping the markets high. It's just a handful of names there. I keep saying it over and over again. That's what we've got. If you look at the Nasdaq here, the Nasdaq really strong in tech for the most part. Semiconductors, everything right there. I want to point out a couple. Algen, which we happen to own, very excited about that. That one broke out there looking really good and closed near highs. You always like when a breakout closes near highs. A little side tip for you. AMD helps out Xilinx yesterday, and Xilinx helps out AMD today. They were both higher. Yesterday, Xilinx was higher because of AMD. Today, AMD's higher because of Xilinx. They both had earnings come out and very comparable there, so kind of interesting, well, as earnings tends to be. If you're looking around, you're going to notice in the Nasdaq, semiconductors were also strong across the board. I won't go through them all. It's kind of boring to go through all of them. Semiconductors using the SMH or SOX. You can use either one. You're going to see a strong day for there, which may lead you to looking for some watch list type names. If you look inside the Dow, awfully quiet, right? Nice and strong. Nobody's complaining there. It was a positive day, sitting near highs. I want to point out Amgen. Really anything healthcare today, Amgen and Merck would be in the Dow if you're looking there. Those were the weak links, and there wasn't much more. And that's because healthcare had an early pullback throughout the day. Those two stocks could not recover there. Now, if you're looking at the Dow and you want to place a friendly wager, we have a game going on called Guess the Dow, and Cody's going to tell you where our leaderboard's at because there's only one day left.
We got, new leaderboard today. We got Dennis, Russell, Mike, Tina, and Joe. Those are your top 5 for the day. Actually, those are your same 5 leaders from Tuesday of this week. So I thought that was kind of neat there. They're playing for their chance to win $100. You can either, if you're not a client, you can take a gift card. If you are a client, you can have $100 credited to your account.
Look at that spread, too. Look how tight that spread is. You got 1 point from Mike and Tina. They're going to duke it out there. You got...
That could be a fun finish going into tomorrow.
Yeah, less than 1 point between second, third, and fourth place right now. I love it. Wow. All right, and we're okay. So, well, you need quite a pullback though, right, to get them in the mix. So Dennis kind of got the upper hand at the moment, but I like it. I like it, man. All right. Well, if you want to play, you know where to go there. If you'd like to participate, looking around elsewhere, I just want to point out oil. Oil recovering now more than 60% of its gains there. Sorry, gas prices headed higher and everything. You had a quick sell-off there, maintained that it was a viable pullback. I didn't think it would recover this fast, to be honest, but wow, price of oil looking like it's trying to break to new highs. So I wouldn't be shocked to see now an $80 a barrel mark on oil. So maybe not a good thing there, but it's what it is. We take a look at gold. Also saw a little bit of a spike today. It's been an odd bird, right? Gold, Bitcoin, inflation-related type hedges have been really quite odd out there, but gold doing its part here today. And lastly, yields popping just a little bit. Small move there. Just thought I'd point that out. If we go to the sector breakdown here for the day, you have no tapering of any kind from the Fed until now we know at least the end of November, right? Because the next meeting I think is in December. So we know not the next meeting, but the major change, next interest rate decision. So we now know that, right? You've got if you're buying houses or whatever, rates are going to stay low. If you're refinancing, you don't have to panic and all that good stuff. We've got basically the end of this year. Well, what that means, if you're looking inside of the markets, a handful of sectors will benefit from that, right? So tech getting a little bit of a boost from that here today. Financials getting a little bit of a boost. In fact, financials were the 3rd best performing. They all kind of tied for first place, if we're honest. You got financials at highs. Regional banks. Oh, nope, sorry. I'll go over here. There we go. Regional banks up about 0.5% on the day. Real estate likes low rates as well. Now that's extended, right? So real estate, healthcare, those are extended even though healthcare is not so sensitive. And utilities, right? Slight gain in utilities here today with the idea of lower rates. I'll point out communication services because it was one of the only 2 sectors to finish lower on the day. Lost 1% today, and that's because of Facebook. Almost the entire day's gain or losses in communication services is due to one stock. That's because Facebook makes up 24% of the entire sector. So when you look at the XLC today, why did it fall? Really no other reason besides Facebook which obviously had earnings there. We'll cover that here in just a second. Otherwise, sector-wise, consumer discretionary was your best performing area, almost about ready to hit new highs there. And don't forget materials. Waking up there. It's not, it's not the most glamorous area of the market, but it's waking up little by little, trying to clear above the 50-day moving average, and that's what I have for you there. As far as earnings, let's go over to a handful of them. I'll start with Qualcomm. Yeah, got a nice breakout there. Not bad. Breaking out of a couple months, really about 5 months worth of nothing, right? Sideways, just kind of boring. Earnings beat by 14%. Revenue beat by 6%. They guided higher by about 4%. The comments, I just kind of give you the headlines of earnings. I'm not just here to throw out numbers. One thing that stuck out to me is the CEO saying, we currently have more demand than supply across the board. Every product line, more demand than supply. That's a pretty powerful thing to say when you're beating on earnings, and most people would start to question, you beat, but is that it? Is that all you got? Is this like the peak? No, he's saying they have more demand across the board. Ford, nice little bounce today, up 4%. Earnings, they had earnings, right? 13-cent gain versus a 5% loss, which was expected there. Revenues beat by 5%, and they guided higher as well. They said semiconductors, which this also helped them, semiconductors as well, had a smaller impact than thought for Ford because they were able to raise prices. And I thought, what does that mean? Raise prices? Like on Mustangs, on trucks? What do we got going on here? The average vehicle cost for Ford now is $47,000 across the entire line. That's the average cost. That's, in fact, a new record for them for their average cost. Fascinatingly expensive. URI, I like to look at this one. This is United Rentals. It's kind of an interesting way to look at construction, right? You maybe you know who they are, maybe you don't. But construction supplier there. They missed on earnings, but they guided higher. They said that their overall activity in construction is increasing. Well, okay, but they missed expectations. So it's kind of an interesting thing there. That's a tough one because we already know construction's increasing there. So it makes you ask that labor question maybe. I don't know. I bounced around a little bit. Let's go to Facebook, down 4%. Not a bad earnings report, really. Daily active users, monthly active users were just in line, right? And remember, like every earnings season has a theme, and you know the theme going into it. This earnings season's theme was they set the bar too high. If you don't blow the top of that bar off, then people are going to assume that you're not as strong as everybody expects you to be. So we've seen it day in and day out. Those that are just matching earnings and all the metrics that we like to look at, stock falls. Right? If you're well above it, you do well. There's only a couple names that have done differently there. So anyways, active users down, basically in line. So stocks, takes a bit of a hit there. Average revenue per user up 45%. Now they got pricing power here. This is like Alphabet the other day. They've got pricing power. Ad prices are up. Ad spend is up. The number of people advertising is up. So don't go feeling bad for Facebook just yet. All right, just because less people are on there. They're making more per person, even though less people, or about the same amount of people, are on there. PayPal down 6% on the day there. Payment volumes is the metric. Like I always try to point out what's the theme, what are people looking at. Payment volumes was the metric there. 4% higher than expected. Revenues missed, earnings missed. Across the board, that was not one. So you set the bar up here and you couldn't even get to the bar? That's not good. So stock down 6% on the day. Yum Brands, you like some Yum Brands now, don't you? Yum Brands beats across the board. They said, we don't have a problem with labor issues, right? They have no impact on our profitability whatsoever. That's probably the comment people focused on, or kind of what you got from this, because other than that, when you look at Yum Brands, and not too bad there in terms of their metrics, but the fact that they have no problem getting labor, it's not affecting their profitability, they're paying a little bit more. All right, there's one for old Biden, because he keeps saying go out there and pay people more, and there's a lot of pushback on that. Not from Yum Brands. They're having no problems, kind of like Chipotle. ServiceNow, also in the mix for the day. There's a lot of them, right? But ServiceNow beats by 21 cents. I tried to put one that had a strong beat in there because I could just go all day. O'Reilly, you could do Uber. No, Uber's a different story. You could do XPO's, the logistics company there. There's just so much. But I wanted to put ServiceNow in there. It was a stronger beat overall for them. What do we got? Stocks in the news. Who bought Robinhood? Well, I hope not too many people. Opens up at 38 here today. Quick little pop higher, and that's it. Sold off, down 10% at one point. I think a little bit more than 10%. First day closes out at 34.82. Not a good start, but what do you... I did the video on it. Like, they're making a profit and all this stuff. I don't know how you say it, but you're pricing in that everything in the future is going to go really, really well. And maybe they can, but they've had a lot of roadblocks along the way. Anyways, Robinhood goes public, and that's now HOOD is the ticker symbol there. The opposite of that, DD. I'm so mad at this one. DD, they may go private. They're having some issues there with Chinese government. They say, well, maybe we'll go private. Maybe the Chinese government asked you to go private. Nonetheless, the stock a little bit higher on that news because the projected price would be somewhere between 13 and 16 if that were the case, given that it's such a new IPO. That would be historic if they did that. Now, Uber's tied into this, right? Stock is down 3% on the day. So there's a company called SoftBank that has had a tough run lately. And what they're doing is selling off 45 million shares of Uber to offset losses in Didi. So that's the effect that you see happening there with them. And I believe they did it already. If you look, volume today, about 50 million shares. So they're working on it. They maybe didn't get everything through today, but that's SoftBank right there. Goldman Sachs is actually handling that, so they're in the process of doing that there. Hershey, nice recovery here today. So if you look at Hershey, where is it there? Where did I put Hershey? I don't have the earnings in front of me there. Earnings beat, obviously people eating chocolate, everything's going well there. Really, really strong bounce in not retail sales, but those that are buying Hershey-related products away from home. And home would include the grocery store as well, right? You go to the grocery store, you buy yourself a little treat, something like that. This would be tourism, buying at Hershey stores, buying out at theme parks and things like that. So good news for them, and they've obviously been doing well here through this whole thing. No complaints. From me anyways. And lastly, you've got Paychex. A whole bunch of different things going on here with Paychex. They're almost hitting new highs, kind of like the new breakout here. Obviously, earnings coming up, something to pay attention to. I just thought, I don't know, it's not really in the news. I just kind of thought that's one that a pullback may make it relevant. The trouble is if it starts to pull back before earnings, you might just want to wait until right after earnings. I don't know. We'll keep tabs on it there. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer your questions. Otherwise, we're going to keep packing this thing up. We're moving old jazz. Yep. All right, so who bought Robinhood, huh? Yeah, you would think that the old meme traders there would have the opposite opinion. I agree with that. I don't know for a fact if they do, but you would think it would be something like the opposite. We will see. What's Darren doing? Yeah. I love it, man. So, what was it? What was the other one there? Robinhood. There was another one that just came out. I forget actually which one it was there. Don't forget, GameStop's taking the place of a REIT that actually makes money. That's a weird one. Tomorrow you got earnings from Chevron, Colgate, Caterpillar, AbbVie, Charter, Dish, Illinois Tool Works, Johnson Controls, Newell, ExxonMobil, Procter & Gamble. There's just so many of them. I could just go on. Yep. Yeah, isn't it weird? Like Robinhood, all right, it was kind of interesting. They went public, but people were just like, nah, I don't know. Nah, I'm going to wait. I'm not too interested in that. I think that was the consensus for the day. It was a tough one. What do you think about Tal? Can they survive? They've got a lot of business changes to make, right? I mean, the Chinese government just put their laser focus right on them. I don't know, right? Changing this whole model, essentially, of what they do, limiting their hours. It's not one I'd want to buy. Yeah, I wouldn't take a chance on Lowe's for this one here, which is basically where it's at. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why was PayPal down so much? Just basically a miss across the board there. They set the bar high too. I mean, I give them that. That's a tough one. But yeah, lost 6%. Back to the 50-day. A very important area there for that one. We will see what happens. Unfortunately, Coinbase isn't doing a whole lot. Just kind of sideways near lows here, and that's just a lot to do with the action and low volume right now in crypto. In particular, if we can look at Bitcoin. You had a little excitement the other day, but other than that, there hasn't been much in the way of transactions that make headlines and get people to just call their best friends. So should I buy Bitcoin? It hasn't happened a whole lot. So you need this to come back into play and just take the attention from everything else. Right now, attention is so spread out in the market, it's tough for Bitcoin to really shine for the moment. Yeah. I love it. Well, I'll wrap it up there and get back to work, and appreciate you guys hanging out here with us today. We will announce the winner of Guess the Dow on Monday. Good luck to you if you're playing, and have a great rest of your evening.